I see that this DM is in vanish mode. Talking about you fine.
How did you even see that? Did you go through my phone?
So I did. I can go to his page and see when he was in Atlanta and when he was hitting you.
You can never break me. Ever. I'm trying to get some money.
You.
No, you.
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 I'm done with you. You're dead to me. Divorce.
Get the papers. I'm gonna take the high road like I should have done a long time ago.
The warm evening air in Atlanta felt heavy, wrapping the city in its usual hum of life. Inside her home, Kendra moved through her usual routine, preparing dinner and settling in for the night. She had no idea that everything was about to change. Kendra and Jock had been married for years, and like any couple, they had faced their fair share of challenges. They had overcome struggles before, always managing to find their way back to each other. But recently, something had shifted. The closeness they once shared had faded, replaced by an unspoken distance. Kendra still believed they could work through it. She held on to hope that their love would be strong enough to carry them through this rough patch. What she didn't know was that Jock was starting to see things differently. It started out as an ordinary moment. Kendra had left her phone on the counter while she was busy in the kitchen. Normally, Jock would never have thought to look at it. He had always trusted her completely. But lately, doubts had been creeping into his mind, an uneasy feeling he couldn't shake. It felt like Kendra was slipping away, and he needed to know why. The phone was unlocked. Kendra had never bothered to put a passcode on it. That simple decision would soon change everything. Jock hesitated for a moment before picking it up. His hands were slightly unsteady as he opened her messages. What he found made his heart drop. These weren't just casual conversations between friends. The messages were personal, intimate, filled with flirtation and hidden emotions. As he scrolled through them, the truth became undeniable. This was more than harmless chatting. This was something deeper, something that had been going on for a while. The person on the other end of the messages wasn't just anyone. It was an ex from Kendra's past, someone she had once loved. And from the words exchanged between them, it was clear that old feelings had resurfaced. It wasn't just a one-time mistake. This was an emotional affair, a connection she had kept hidden from him. Jock's chest tightened as a wave of anger and disbelief crashed over him. His hands trembled as he read through the texts again, each word cutting deeper than the last. Everything they had built together now felt like a lie. The trust, the love, the years spent side by side. It all seemed meaningless in that moment. By the time Kendra walked back into the living room, she could feel that something was wrong. Jock was standing there, phone in hand, his expression frozen in shock and fury. The air between them had changed, thick with tension. Then she saw it, the screen in his hands, the look in his eyes. She knew. Her stomach dropped as she realized what he had seen. The messages. The betrayal written in words that could never be taken back. Jock's world had just been shattered, and nothing would ever be the same again.
I like the spot.
Me too.
Energy good, good crowd. So what's really going on with you and Mario?
You know, it's business. You know, I don't want you to, be feeling no kind of way. Like, I'm honest. I'm faithful, and I feel like,
You don't want me to feel no kind of way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I was dealing with a woman who was sending me hard eyes in my DM, talking about I'm fine, talking about I'm sexy.
But I never replied back to any of those. I didn't even
Nah,
see
you
that.
replied after that. You definitely saw it.
I sell
You
title
want
insurance.
me, I don't give a fuck about no title insurance. You want me to be cool with you continuing to do business with love. Look,
That's why you
No.
feeling so
Let me tell you
weird
something.
about it, because you probably
Let me tell you
insecure.
don't try to twist this up and point the fingers at me. I saw the receipt. And if you want to sit here and play these mind tricks with me, I'm gonna really feel like it's more to this. And I ain't with it. I see that this DM is in vanish mode. Talking about you fine.
How did you even see that? Did you go through my
I
phone?
saw I did. I can go to his page and see when he was in Atlanta and when he was hitting you.
Now, I'm not gonna play with you like that. If you want to play kid games, I'll be out. Go play with your kids. Go play with your baby mamas. Don't play with me. I'm talking about this specific
Time out, because I'm
situation.
gonna break you the down.
You can never break me. Ever. trying to get some money.
Well, go get some money with somebody else who ain't trying to
You can never break me, ever.
you.
No, you.
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 I'm done with you. You're dead to me. Divorce.
Get the papers. I'm gonna take the high road like I should have done a long time ago. Good.
Here's a rewritten version in simple English with a natural human tone. Before Kendra could say a word, Jock's voice sliced through the silence. "What is this?" His tone was quiet but full of anger, sending a chill through Kendra. Her throat went dry. She had hoped to keep this hidden, to protect what was left of their fragile marriage. But now, there was no hiding. The messages, the flirtation, the secret conversations, it was all out in the open. "I can explain," she whispered, her voice shaky. But it was too late. The damage had already been done. Jock didn't want excuses. He wanted the truth. And the truth was unbearable. "You thought you could just keep this from me?" he snapped, his voice growing louder. "This is what you've been doing behind my back?" He held up the phone as if it were evidence in a trial, proof of her betrayal. The hurt in his eyes was deeper than Kendra had expected. She never wanted to hurt him. She never imagined her actions would cause this much pain. But now, there was no undoing it. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she said softly. Jock let out a bitter laugh. His hands clenched into fists at his sides. "You didn't mean for it to happen?" he echoed. "Well, it did. And now, everything we had, it's all a lie." His words hit her like a slap. A crushing weight settled on her chest, making it hard to breathe. She wanted to explain, to apologize, to make him understand. But deep down, she knew there was nothing she could say to fix this. She had broken something that couldn't easily be repaired. Jock started pacing, his anger growing with each step. "You think this is some kind of joke?" he said, his voice thick with pain. "I trusted you. I loved you. And this is how you repay me?" Kendra reached out, desperate to touch him, to calm him, but he pulled away as if her touch burned him. The warmth and love that once filled his eyes had disappeared, replaced by cold anger and betrayal. "Maybe this marriage was never real," he muttered almost to himself. "Maybe I was just a fool." Then, without another word, he turned and walked out the door. The sound of it slamming shut echoed through the room, leaving Kendra standing there, frozen in place. The reality of what had just happened crashed over her. Her knees gave out, and she sank onto the couch, tears streaming down her face. She had lost him. There was no going back. The secrets, the lies, they had destroyed everything. Outside, Jock walked into the night, his chest tight with pain. His heart ached, his mind raced. But one thing was clear: he couldn't go back. The love they had shared, the life they had built, was shattered. And the trust, once broken, could never be the same. The house was silent, but the emptiness between them was louder than any words.
That this DM is in vanish mode. Talking about you fine.
How did you even see that? Did you go through
I
my phone?
saw I did. I can go to his page and see when he was in Atlanta and when he was hitting you.
You can never break me. Ever. I'm trying to get some money.
You.
No, you.
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 I'm done with you. You're dead to me. Divorce.
Get the papers. I'm gonna take the high road like I should have done a long time ago.
Kirk's actions have only made everything worse. Instead of owning up to his mistakes and admitting that he messed up again, he's been trying to paint himself as the victim. He's telling anyone who will listen that he's been unhappy in his marriage for a long time. According to him, his affair with Jasmine was a way to escape all the problems he was facing at home with Rashida. It's as if he's trying to justify his behavior and make it seem like he's the one who's been suffering. Just days after this, he separated from Rashida, and sources say that he even reached out to his legal team for advice on how to handle a divorce. Rashida has been through so much, and at this point, it seems like Kirk still refuses to take full responsibility for the hurt he caused. Instead of accepting his wrongs, he's trying to shift the blame and make himself look like the victim. That has only made things more complicated for everyone involved. But this situation didn't happen overnight. For years, Rashida has been dealing with his unfaithfulness and all the lies that have come with it. She could have left him many times, but she chose to stay. And in some ways, it allowed Kirk to keep treating her poorly. In some ways, Rashida has enabled Kirk's behavior by continuing to put up with it. It's easy to say she should have walked away, but relationships are complicated, and leaving isn't always an easy choice. For years, she stood by him, trying to keep their family together despite all the drama. Rashida has been vocal about her decisions, making it clear that no one can judge her for what she chose to do. She's been very open about how her life isn't easy for anyone to understand unless they've walked in her shoes. In an interview with Essence, she said, "A lot of times, people who speak on that could never wear my shoes. A lot of women haven't even been in a relationship for 5 minutes, let alone 20 years, so you can't speak about the decisions that I make." Rashida made it clear that at the end of the day, it's her life to live, and she didn't let anyone's opinions change the way she approached her relationship. She prayed about it, followed her heart, and trusted that she was making the right choice. Rashida admitted that it wasn't always easy, especially when she was going through a deep and dark time in their marriage. But she also mentioned that Kirk had made a 360-degree change and worked hard to show her that he was committed to their relationship. That's one reason why their marriage was able to continue for as long as it did. But it wasn't without challenges, and she was honest about how difficult things had been. Kirk's journey to realize how much he needed Rashida took a turning point when he was hospitalized. That was the moment he understood he needed her back in his life, but this wasn't the fairy tale it might sound like. His decision to ask for Rashida's support while he was recovering didn't sit well with Jasmine. In fact, she's been furious ever since. Sources say that Kirk had already discussed the possibility of marrying Jasmine once his divorce from Rashida was finalized. So when he suddenly wanted Rashida back, it broke Jasmine's heart. The betrayal was hard to digest. It's like he'd been playing both women, and now they were both hurt by his actions. As the saying goes, you lose them the way you gain them. And Jasmine is now learning that painful lesson. Let's not forget who Kirk is. He has a long history of manipulating both Rashida and Jasmine, and this situation is no different. While we can wish for his recovery, one thing is clear. This is going to get messier before it gets better. The tension between Jasmine and Rashida is thick, and it seems like everyone is caught up in Kirk's web of lies and deceit. Kirk's request for Rashida to be by his side after his health scare has gotten people talking. Fans on social media are split over what they think Rashida should do. Some are questioning why Jasmine keeps acting as if she's the victim when she knowingly had a child with a married man. Having a baby by a married man comes with consequences, one fan pointed out. They believe that Jasmine knew the situation and should accept the reality of it. Others are rallying behind Rashida, telling her to take charge of her happiness and move on. Some fans are even saying that if Kirk were to pass away, Rashida would be better off without him, pointing out that she deserves peace and shouldn't have to deal with a disrespectful man who has caused her so much pain. On the other hand, some fans still wonder whether Rashida should forgive Kirk for everything he's done to her and stand by his side in the hospital. After all, they've been married for 25 years, and some feel that maybe she should be there for him in his time of need. However, there's also a growing sentiment that Rashida has no obligation to stay by his side since he chose to be with Jasmine over her in the first place. At the end of the day, it's a decade